I asked you guys and gals the question about X-23. One thing that's really interested me from all of these votes on the respective reworks, Morningstar, Invisible Woman, Wolverine X-23, Jubilee, Squirrel Girl, and Rogue and Proxima Midnight, what is standing out X-23? I'm not saying it's surprising because maybe I was too confident in Rogue being that, but Rogue's just a character that I personally resonate with. X-23 doesn't. Morningstar, because I used Morningstar back in the day, but whoever has their reasons, and for whatever reason, look, vote for whoever you want to vote for. However, it was surprising that we've had such a big resurgence for X-23, and I wanted to really find out, like, why. What made X-23 all of a sudden just stand out that people were backing for whatever reason? We'll find out those reasons. But X-23, at the point of recording this video, is up to 43.3 million points now. It'll be more by the time you see it. And Rogue is on 39.5. Therefore, giving X-23 at least about 4 million points advantage over Rogue being the number 2 champion that's being voted for. So that was really surprising. But at the same time, it's not surprising. DNA 3000 as of March 11th has been tracking the voting situation, which has definitely seen 2 champions, Rogue and X-23, lead the way with the votes. It is a big surprising thing, and of course you can see the trajectory, which all of a sudden just took this kind of big push, which is great, by the way. There's nothing against any particular one winning for whatever reason. It seems ridiculous. It's just really cool. Anyway, some further details on that before we get into why people are voting for X-23. The bigger question is whether there are any points available to be swayed. If everyone keeps scoring at the same rate for the same champion, or more or less, then the gaps between the champions is large enough to make any small random fluctuation meaningless. But there is a way for the points to swing enough to change the leader. In fact, there's enough points in theory to allow any of the champs to still take the lead, albeit this is the most likely for Rogue as the gap is the smallest. So that just gives you a bit of perspective on, well, it is possible for any of the champions if there is a big push and support. However, I think that people are done with kind of changing anything. And I think people are very much suited to this. Because it doesn't feel as straightforward to flip-flop in the milestone points climbing. I'm not saying it's difficult. It's just when people are like, well, I'm just going to go down this route. People stay in that route. They kind of don't branch off from what they know to be easy to do. And especially in MCOC, like it's at times it feels like I'll just continue on. I'll continue on what I'm doing. Rather than going, oh, I'll vote here or go there or change my mind. People are very kind of like focused in one way. So I don't see there being any which change for any of the champions. Certainly interesting to see. I think it's Jubilee is the lowest at 17 mil. Could you back that champion and have excessively kind of, go up? Anyway. The slope of the scoring curves represent the average points per hour, and we can see that the linear projections are very closely match the actual score over time, with a small daily fluctuation consistent with daily activity swings in the game. In general, we saw the same sort of thing in other Realm events. The slope of the X-23 curve is about 152,500 points per hour, and the slope of the Rogue curve is about 131,400 points per hour. On average, X-23 is gaining about 3.66 million points, and Rogue 3.1.5 million points per day. So that means the gaps are going to widen as a result. Anyway, it's really cool. I'll leave you if you want to go and give this a read. This is X-23s. This is DNA 3000. I'm tired at the moment. I've just come back from the hospital. No issues. Just my dad had to get like a few scans done after falling off his bike midweek. But it's I just got to like try and wake myself up a little bit. But let's go over to the part 2 of this video, and that is like why people are voting for or what they want to see from X-23 and stuff like that. So let's bring in community based information, dissection, discussion, and your thoughts. So let's begin right at the very top here. So Josh says, give her ruptures on opponents who are bleed immune. Since adamantium can cut into anything, give her a true strike because of her senses and berserk feral mode after SP2. I'm happy with that. If they're kind of branching into what X-23 is, then that would be fun, wouldn't it? Alex says, if they decide to rework her, then full send it where it brings the justice for Wolverine, have an easier time with critical bleeds, and maybe do something huge for like a heal block immune, and with her healing factor, have it go into overdrive when facing multiple debuffs when she's hardly phased and you need to get more strategic to take her down. Yep, and do the same to OG Wolverine. Of course, that would be amazing. Someone's advocating for Rogue. I'm nothing against that. It's just I was interested why players are voting for X-23. I know Rogue. People are still talking about Rogue. Like there's been. Hey, here we go. Right, this is what I want to see. I like a character from X-Men Evolution, Logan. Funnily enough, M's a big fan of X-Men Evolution. I didn't watch all of X-Men Evolution. I watched some of the early parts of X-Men Evolution, but not all of it. When it comes to where I've seen X-23, it's probably Logan. That's where I'm coming into it. But yeah, that's still cool. I'm glad that people, are kind of resonating. Again, another one. I love this. She's always been a favourite of mine, just from looks and animations. She was a bit of a unicorn for a while, as well as also one of the champs, the pool that need it the most. Rogue can already take Serpent. Morningstar and Proxima are okay once they build up. Yep, I like that. Justification. I like the regen buff, Fury stack buff. With her attacks should have true strike passives that bypass armor ups, new fight and special animations. Anti-skill champion buff. That's a very good point. Nowadays, anti-skill or kind of counters to skill-based champions a necessity with mutant-based champions. We've seen that with Onslaught. We've seen that with Mr. Sinister. We've seen that with buffs and changes to Storm. So more of that, of course. More on regen buff. Also, give her permanently Fury buff. Maybe a Fury passive. Shrugs debuffs off like Agent Venom. That would be cool. Maybe that just ties into like the character itself. So I'm down for that. Ninja says, enjoyed her as a character. Logan the movie was where I first saw the character, but not long after I got some of her comics. Fair play. Well done to anybody that kind of like goes out of the way to buy some more comics and kind of ties himself in. I've recently picked up, I don't know if so I've recently kind of grabbed myself the Marvel Rivals. I'm getting the full set, but I've been picking up Marvel Rivals tie-in stuff. So I've been kind of doing that. I don't know if you can see that on camera. So yeah, I've got a few here. These are just like alternate artworks. So the Marvel Rivals stuff. I've got to go back and do my MCOC, but it was good to kind of to do that and yeah, just tie into stuff like read some comic books. I can't afford it at the moment because we got some stuff on the house we're working on, and it's going to cost a lot of money, a hell of a lot of money. But anyway, enough about that. It was good to see and read stuff like this. Like one of my favourite parts of MCC is being able to play characters you like, but she also always has been an underwhelming compared to some of the other favourites, and of course it goes on. So yeah, absolutely very good to hear some of these kind of really decent, thought out things. Amin says that about again comics for story being biological daughter of Logan. Love it. Also, she'll be the first 7-star Wolverine. That's cool to think about as well. Regen has become somewhat of a rare commodity. That's so true. That is so true. So, heart there for Mohammed. It'd be nice to see if we saw a good champ with some good regen and sustainability. Sorry, I can't speak. Who also has good damage. Only other champs that come to mind is Mr. Sinister and great buff. That was need more of that. Absolutely. I probably get hate, but I just like X-23 for who she is in her comic books. Fan of all things Wolverine. Nice. I would like to just see her be improved. An actual useful character. even if she's not in the most game-breaking champ. Again, hope all the ladies get a buff, because, yeah, I agree that it would be good if all of them get a buff. I do agree with that. It would be good if all of them get it. Just to, like, tune up here, rework for Rogue, elsewhere, yeah. I'd just because she's a Wolverine, I'd vote Elektra if we had a female Daredevil. Okay. X-23 remake is a mandatory thing in my book, but so are many other characters. I hope she also gets some awesome new synergies. Yeah, I'd love that as well, because then it at least ties into using Wolverine a bit more, because I'm sure people would like that. Anyway, there's a lot. There's a lot more kind of like points here, you know. Thank you to everybody that reached out. Should be stronger, younger, faster version of Wolverine. Yep, fantastic. Ruptures seem to be kind of like an emerging or re-emerging thing that people are talking about. Fair play to anybody. Thank you very much for everybody that's reached out in this. It's good to get an idea of like why people, what is resonating. Why do you like the character? Why are you voting? Because I don't know. It's nice to learn for other people why this character is highly likely to win. Let's not kind of like, I want to say beat off in a bush. No, beat around the bush. The character's going to win. It's going to win the vote, and you could change it if you wanted to, but it's going to win. And because it's going to win, it's interesting to find out, like, well, why. I've even seen like a point here by Mr. Bird Boys. It's a great name, by the way. Her kit is currently boring. And that's fair play. Honestly, it's great to find out, well, is it the kit? Is it the character? What is currently about the character that needs to be... Do we need more skill-based counters? Some people are saying about that. Ruptures, bleed immunity, stuff that ties into it, debuff shrug, you name it, people are discussing it in this. Thanks to everybody on the community post that reached out. We'll hopefully do some more of these. It's good to get some feedback, good to get some understanding. And do you think that X-23 is actually going to win? Have your say in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye-bye.